Well, good morning, everybody. You know, I was going to wait and have an announcement done at the end of service, but I figured I am really forgetful, so if I didn't write it down, it was going to be bad, and I didn't write it down. So before I forget, I'm going to have Lori come up and give us an announcement that she is, her organization and several other organizations, especially with the Super Bowl coming into our area. You know, I'm going to need a microphone. Does anybody have one? Can I get one from the back? So come on up and kind of tell us about what's going on. So they're going to be delivering us a microphone here in 1 second. Yeah, now we want a different one.
This is what it's like.
It's bright. I need a microphone.
I'm loud.
Oh, she can. We'll take this one. The one that she pointed to and said that's right there.
Hello.
There it is. It's Adele. No.
Hello. No, I won't. I won't do it. Good morning. My name is Lori. And at first I want to say there are so many new faces here. And my husband Rich and I were in and out with that nasty flu for weeks and weeks. And I feel like our church doubled while we were gone. And it's awesome. And if we haven't had a chance to meet, I would love to officially meet you. So I have two announcements. One is for the church here.
Okay.
So, you know, we have our crab feed coming up, and I don't want to steal anybody's thunder for later. But we need you to come and eat crab. And if you don't like crab, we need you to come and eat pasta. But also we need raffle prizes. And so Melissa has a letter that we've drafted that you can hand out when you get your hair cut or take your dog to the groomer or places that you shop. Anybody that might be willing to donate something, however small it might be, we can make an awesome raffle basket out of it. So we need your help in doing that. How much time do I have? I'm stealing your show.
Just go ahead.
Okay.
They're not going anywhere.
They're not going. That's right. They're waiting for you. Okay. So we need your help also doing that. But what I want to talk to you about too is I work for the Children's Nurturing Project. Children's Nurturing Project is a nonprofit here in Fairfield. We serve Wallace Solano County, and the population that we work with are children, thus the name. And these are children who have experienced some challenging things in their life. We have a big event coming up on the 20th. It's kind of a heavy subject, so I'll throw it out there, but it's about, are there kids out here in the audience?
No, we're okay.
It's child sex trafficking. And if you don't think it's in our backyard, you're wrong. It's huge in this community. It is huge. Underage sex trafficking in Solano County is bigger in Solano County than it is in LA. Yeah. So my organization, one of the programs that we have is we offer services to the girls. We get them into mental health, link them up to social services, whatever they need. And so what a lot of people in the community aren't aware of is, number one, that sex trafficking is in our community. And number two, businesses have a requirement by law that really hasn't been enforced. There are certain kinds of businesses that must post, I'm popping my peas, that must post a flyer that with an 800 number for trafficking victims, any kind of trafficking. And it hasn't been enforced. It's been in, I think it's been in effect for like 4 years now. And so what this big task force in Solano County, which includes law enforcement and the district attorney and the Family Justice Center, is we want to get these posters out into the community, to these businesses, so that people have access who need to be able to get a hold of somebody, to get out, to get help, that there's a number posted for them. So on the 20th at my facility, which is located at the Old Sullivan Middle School, 2195 Union, on the 20th at 4 o'clock, we're asking as many people in the community as possible to come. We're going to give you posters to take out to these businesses. It's not to go in and say, hey, the law says you have to do this, and I'm calling the popo if you don't. It's not that. Although I do have a connection to law enforcement if you want to do that. No. We don't want you to do that. It's about educating the community, and that it's going to take an entire community to fix this really, really broken thing that happens to children in our community. So if you can, come on the 20th, 4 o'clock, 2195 Union Avenue. We'll give you some posters. And just ask you to help us spread the word. If you can't come that day and you would still like to help out somehow, you can get a hold of me through Mike or Melissa. That can give you my number or my email. And that's it. Thank you.
Awesome. So again, it's on the 20th. If you need any information about that, we would love to get it to you. We will guide you to where it needs to go, and we will get you in touch with her. So please, don't think that it's not a problem. It is a huge problem here. It just is. It's something that needs to be addressed, and it's not, guys. And I want to tell you is that it's not just here, but it's really a big problem. And I will tell you, with the Super Bowl coming up, it's actually going to get worse. It will actually get worse with the Super Bowl coming up because people are going to come here to try and pick upon the tourists and all the people that are going to be here. So it's important. So please, we don't make announcements here lightly. We try and pick what we're going to talk about. We don't just come up and go, hey, let's just pull things. And especially when we bring somebody up as a guest announcement, that it really is important for us. So please consider. The 20th is only in a couple days too. Today, though, as we dive back into this, not to take away from that thunder because that's important, but we're all here for service as well. And so we are following up in this series called Vivid. And as I was going through, and over the last couple of weeks, it's things have been kind of tough on some of us. It's been tough on me. It's been tough on my wife, and it's been tough on some of you guys. And so one of the things that I started looking at is I started wondering how many of us got to the first of the year, we made some New Year's resolutions, and now by the 17th they kind of are gone. They don't even exist anymore. They're like, I thought about it. I maybe made it to the 3rd. Maybe anybody? Did you make it to the 3rd at least? Did you get there? Did anybody make it to the 10th? How about last Sunday? Did anybody make it to the 10th? Well, here's the thing, is that we have a God of second chances. You know that? We have a God of second chances. And so that when you go, I didn't make it until the 10th, well, you could have started over again on the 11th and go, I want to try again right now. I want to start again here. And so one of the things that I had some thoughts about New Year's resolutions, because some people kind of go, they kind of get out there. Some of you guys get to this point and you go, I can't believe it's been a year since I became a better person, right? That's what some people look at that. All right, since I made a commitment to become a better person. Or how about I made this resolution to stop lying to myself about making resolutions. Some people, because that's what we do. We'll lie to ourselves about what we're going to do. We're going to go, I want to, or you can go to the extreme opposite end, where you can go, you know what, I know that I'm going to fail. So I put out there, I'm gonna lose weight, I'm gonna marry Scarlett Johansson, and I'm gonna find the lost city of Atlantis. And so if you're gonna go big and lose it all, then just go big, right? You're just not gonna make it, and so just kind of go all away from it. Yeah, all of us, we have these things where we make these things. We make these resolutions, and sometimes we make it 2 weeks, sometimes we make it a week, sometimes we make it a month, sometimes we make it 2 months. But we a lot of times we lose focus of it. We lose focus, or we set the goal so high that we can't reach it. We lose focus, or we set it too far, or we lose that drive. Or some of you set resolutions that you didn't even start. You go, I want to lose weight this year, but I'm going to start in July. That's when I'm going to do it. And so my wife goes, I got to get a new bathing suit. So I got to get this, I got to do this, and this in order to do that. That's what she tells me. I got to get to this point. And I go, I just go get a bathing suit. I just go buy one, and just put it on, and I'll walk out there, and everybody gets to look at the loveliness of. And the only person who's like looking forward to that is my wife. She's like, yes, that's going to be great. But everybody else, you're like, whew, tanning bed, Mike, tanning bed. That's, But we go, I've got to get ready for July. That's when we're going to, but why wait until July? It's sometimes what happens. Arthur Ashe, he said, many of us are making resolutions or goals because many of us are not making resolutions or goals because we fear we will fail and not finish. Many of us stop making resolutions because we already said, it's pointless because I'm not going to actually finish it. Not going to actually get and do it. So why set goals in the first place? Why should I set a goal to lose weight if I'm actually not going to make any changes to do that? Or why should I set a goal to spend more time with my kids if I'm not actually going to do that? So what I wanted to do as we're looking at being vivid, I wanted us to look and go, what do we need to do to keep our goals right in front of us? Right in front, we're not only right in front of us, but something that kind of keeps a constant reminder. Anybody ever heard of Joe Montana? Anybody ever heard of this guy? Okay. So Joe Montana grew up in Pennsylvania. And when he grew up in Pennsylvania, first off, if you know Joe Montana, you know that he was not the greatest quarterback in high school and in college. He just wasn't. And Bill Walsh took this huge chance. He just says, I see something there that nobody else sees. I see something there. Well, as a kid, Joe Montana went home and wrote goals down. He just wrote them down. He wrote down and he said, I'm going to do these things. And he posted them on the wall right at his bedroom door. So as a child, and one of his goals was he was going to win a championship. That was one of the goals. Every day he walked out of his room and he saw this list of goals, and the bottom one was, I will win a championship. I will win a championship. Every day it was a constant reminder. Where are your goals at? Where do you have them at right now? Are they up here in your mind, or do you have them written down to where you see them on a regular basis? Do you have them posted someplace? Do you have an accountability partner? Somebody that you wrote down your goals with, you talked about it with, maybe like your spouse, or maybe somebody in a small group that you've actually sat down and said, I want you to hold me accountable for growing towards these. I want to grow towards these goals. Because if they're just up here and you've never vocalized them, you will never, ever actually accomplish any of them. You will never move forward towards them. You won't, because what happens is we all know the words, it's out of sight, out of mind. So if you don't have it as that constant reminder, you're going to forget. Anybody know what their New Year's resolutions were for the beginning of 2015? Anybody? Well, they're probably the same as this year's, right? I'm going to do all that stuff this year. I meant to do it last year. I'm going to do it this year. And that's what happens. I want to tell you something, is that there's also another big thing. You will never finish something that you don't start. You will never finish something that you don't start. So, on your goals, what have you started working towards? What have you started doing? And the other thing is that once you start building that momentum, it becomes easier. It just becomes easier. To get the bike going, it's hard. But once it's going, it's easy. It's smooth sailing, right? And so those are things that you have to look at. What do you need to start? What have you been putting off? What have you left undone? These are questions for you. What did you do? Did you go, I want to get fit and healthy, but you didn't even go and sign up for a gym membership? I want to get healthy this year. Or maybe you signed up for a gym membership, but you haven't walked in the door. You're like, man, this is a pretty place. I love the equipment. I think I just want to pay you to keep this stuff in here while I'm at home. Is that okay? I just want the idea of it being available. That's like some of you guys with your stuff in storage. Anybody in here have a storage? When was the last time you actually opened the door of that storage? I'd like to look at some of that stuff that I'm paying for. Oh. But that's what happens. We sign up for a gym membership, and then we don't walk in the door. But if you start doing it on a regular basis, you find that it's actually easier to do it. You go, I want to get in a relationship. Maybe anybody in here, you want to start a new relationship. You're like, I'm looking for, I want a whatever it is, okay? I always, for some reason, I always end up going, you're looking for a new spouse. I'm not looking for that, so don't get there. Right? Mine's perfect right here in front of me. But for some of you, you are looking for that. You're single and you're going, I want a new spouse. I want to find somebody who's going to be a fit for me. But you haven't signed up for eHarmony or Match or even taken a shower for that matter. You just said, I'm just going to walk around stinky and nobody's going to know. Everybody knows. Trust me. Everybody knows. I'm sorry. It's funny when it makes me laugh. Maybe you go, I want some new friendships. But the thing is what are you doing to get friends? Are you part of a group? Are you part of a life group? Are you doing something? Or do you just magically want them to come knock on the door at your house? Hi, I'm here to be your friend. Has that ever happened to any of you? Has that anybody ever, they come and knocked on your door, and it wasn't your neighbor going, hey, your dog's really getting on my nerves. But they came and knocked on your door, and they were from across town, or even, they just go, hey, I'm here to be your friend. Well, yeah. They're on it. The Jehovah's Witnesses will do it 3 or 4 times a year. Hey, we're here to be your friend. I just invite them in for coffee. Come on in, I got some coffee for you. What about you go? So anyway, if you're looking for friends, sign up for a group. They're starting today, so there's lots of them that are available. But you have to start. You can't just. It's gonna take you to start actually working. It's gonna take you to step out and do something. You're not gonna be able to just sit there. It's not gonna just deliver to you. You know, or I want to be more generous this year, but you refuse to give. You refuse to give to us. You refuse to give to the community. You refuse to give in general. You refuse to give to any of these other. And it's just like you're going, no, I want to be more generous, but you hold on really tight. You go, I want to make a difference in the lives of others, which a lot of people do. I want to make a difference in the lives of others. Well, if you're not serving, how are you going to do that? Where are you serving at? And it's not just, and we bring that up, we go, you can serve here at the church, but also there's tons of great nonprofits out there that need help as well. You know, there's an opportunity on the 20th. There's a great organization that I can tell you is that it's one of these things that they always need more help. We always need more help. Even if you look around and you go, oh, they seem to got everything working perfect. That's because somebody's in the background spinning 15 plates. I got it. Trust me, we can all use more help. We can all, every one of these nonprofits, every one of these organizations that's reaching and serving. What is it for you? I'll give you a moment to think about it. What is it for you? What is it that you've been putting off? Or you've gone, I don't want to get started, or I'm just going. And look, we gave you the opportunity. We talked about making resolutions and doing first things first at the beginning of the year. And now here we are. What did you do with that? We're 3 weeks in. What did you do with those resolutions? What have you done with this? Are you making an impact? Are you making a difference? Or have you just held off and you just said, it'll come. It'll just one day. Now here's what I want you to do. As you're thinking about that, I want you to fast forward to the end. Fast forward to the end of your life. Because sometimes it's important to look at the end in order to know where to start. Right? Isn't it important? If you look at the end of your life and you go, one of these things, have you ever read Stephen Covey's book? He said the 7 habits of highly effective leaders. One of them is think with the end in mind. What do you want your obituary to say? What do you want it to say? Guys, we all know in this room that there's 2 things promised in life. There's death and taxes. So we know that one day this body is going to end. And we're going to have eternity. Now, where you spend that eternity is either in heaven or in hell. But that's what's going to happen. It's going to happen. What do you want the obituary to say when that happens? Think about the end in mind. What do you want it to say? Do you want it to say he was a selfish person? Actually, because some people, they don't even get one printed. That's how bad it is. They don't even put it in the paper. Because the people around them go, it costs a lot of money to put that in the paper. I'm not paying for that. There wasn't a whole lot worth saying. But when there's a lot worth saying, people go, well, I'm not just going to do the minimum amount of words. I got a lot to say. There's amazing things to say here. This person was generous, giving. This person took care of their responsibilities. They did this. They did all of these things. And all of a sudden, it goes from being the minimum amount of words to all of a sudden you've taken up a half page. Isn't that how we want our obituaries to look? We want our obituaries to look and go, man, we did something with this time that we have here. We did something with it. And so often we don't. So often we hide and we run from it. If you don't know what the end is going to look like, how do you know where to start at? So that's the question I'll ask you. What do you want it to happen? Where do you want to be at? What do you want people to say when you're gone? What do you want your legacy to be? How about that? What do you want the legacy to look like? What sort of legacy are you leaving behind? It's a tough question. So we're going to look at Moses a little bit. So we're going to spend some time in Exodus. But before we get there, if you read Hebrews 11, it says, by faith Moses, when he had grown up, refused to be known as the son of a Pharaoh's daughter. He chose to be mistreated along with the people of God rather than to enjoy the fleeting pleasures of sin. He regarded disgrace for the sake of Christ as of greater value than the treasures of Egypt, because he was looking ahead to his reward. This is where Moses ended, not where he began. It's where he ended. Now think about this. Where do you want to end at? What do you want it to be said about you? What do you want it to be? What do you want it to be? Now, let's look at Moses. Moses is a baby. who gets rescued, is brought into the Pharaoh's home as a child of, and is raised that way. And, and we know that he commits murder and goes on the run. And so this is for all of you guys out there, and I'm not saying that all you guys are murderers, but some of you guys that have these pasts that you keep looking back and going, God's not going to use this. But there's something that's in our past sometimes that God is actually going to use in order to help us get through this. So Moses is a murder. He commits murder and goes on the run and goes out into the fields and becomes a shepherd. And as he's out here as a shepherd, and guys, shepherds, we've already talked about this before, but shepherds are regarded as the lowest of the low. People didn't want to touch them, they didn't want to talk to them. So it's kind of safe for him to be there because they're like, because being a shepherd's a dirty job. Sheep are dirty. They stink, they're nasty, and to be responsible for that, you have to be willing to get dirty. You just do. And so Moses is out there, and when this happens, you think that for him, he's kind of come to this point, and he goes, this is what it's going to be. This is my existence. And I think for some of us, that's exactly where we are right now. We've gotten to this point where maybe we're in our 30s or 40s or 50s or 60s, and we just go, this is my existence. This is it. This is what it's going to be. It's over. I'm taking care of this. And what this is, who knows what it is? Maybe it's your house. Maybe it's a job that you just maintained. You're just like, I'm doing just enough to maintain it, just to keep it. Never really excelling at it and never really being a failure at it, but you're just doing enough to maintain. Or maybe it's your household. Maybe you're a parent, but not really a parent. You're just kind of there. You just walk in the door and sit on the couch and look around and go, I'm paying for the place. Enjoy. Maybe that's just kind of how it is. The thing is that we've gotten to the point where we start to settle and we just go, this is what it's going to be. This is it. Sometimes we feel unworthy from our past mistakes. What you have to do is, you got to remember, is that it's not what's in the past, it's where you're at. And so what God really wants you to do is he wants you to start where you are. Start where you are. So God appears to him, but Moses said to God, who am I that I should go to the Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt? And God said, I'll be with you. So here's the thing, is that you can start this road right now, and it doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter where you're at on this journey. It could be that you've been on the run, and you're standing there, and you're going, and God appears to you on the bush, and he just comes to you and he goes, I want you to go back, and I want you to save your people. And you go, who am I? How am I going to be the one that goes and do this? How am I going to be this? How am I going to be this person? Maybe it's for you. Maybe it's not save your people. Maybe it's, I want you to start taking care of your family. I want you to start doing this. I want you to start reaching out. I want you to start doing something different. I want you to get in shape. I want you to not have a heart attack this year. I want this. What is it? It doesn't matter where you are when you know who you're with. It doesn't matter where you are when you know who you're with. Just think about this. And it's kind of hard to explain with my daughter because my youngest daughter, my middle child, so we watched the movie Goosebumps a couple nights ago. Anybody seen this movie Goosebumps? Anybody? Anyway, this movie Goosebumps, I thought it was cute. She was terrified. Terrified. The little puppet thing and all. I mean, she didn't know what to do. But she's like this all the time. We went to Disneyland one time. And she saw Mickey Mouse, and she's like, he ain't supposed to be 6 foot tall. What's going on here? And she freaked out. She's like, he's supposed to be like this. And so she freaked out. And so she's been afraid of characters ever since. We go to Six Flags, and she sees Bugs Bunny, and she's like, she hides behind me, but she wants the protection from me. So that's the thing. We go to these places, and the first thing she does, she comes and runs, and she snuggles up with me because she knows that when she's in my embrace, she's safe. That she knows that nobody's going to mess with her. It's the same thing my wife did when news of tragedy. She goes, I just want to be where I know I'm safe. That's what happens, and that's what we do. And so when you're with God, you know that you are safe. When you really have this relationship, you have what you're supposed to be doing, you know that you are safe, and that His plan is going to be working through your life. And see, the thing is we allow all these distractions to pull us away from it. we allow us to we get so often we get pulled away from that embrace. We're going off and we're doing our own little thing, and we go, I got to get this, I got to get that done. Or we feel unworthy, and so we don't feel that we belong in God's embrace. Or we look and we go, we're so far behind financially, you don't see a way out. Instead of going, well, with God, I know that He's got a plan. He's got a plan, and He does. Maybe you're facing some big decisions. Something's going on. You're facing something that you have to go through, and you're looking at it going, I don't know how to do this. Well, are you in God's embrace? Are you with Him? Or are you just trying to figure it out on your own? Or are you just trying to muscle through and go, I can figure it out. I know it. I can get it. Maybe you experienced a loss this last year. Maybe you lost your job. You're looking at 2015 and you're going, what am I going to do? How am I going to make it through 2016? How am I going to do this? How's this going to happen? See, the thing is, it's almost always that God will use what you have. He will almost always use what you have. Now, if you look at the story, if you look at with Moses, and Moses, he comes and Moses answered, what if they don't believe me? Listen to me and saying, the Lord didn't appear to you. Then the Lord said to him, what is that in your hand? A staff. Moses had the staff because he was simply doing his daily work. He was simply doing it for his daily work as a shepherd. Maybe you feel this way. Maybe you look at it and go, I only have this. I'm raising my kids. Maybe I'm being a teacher. I'm trying to change the oil in the car. I got construction. I got sales. I'm a student. I got all this stuff going on. Whatever it is. How's God going to use me? God wants to use what you already have. He's trying to. He's already given you a tool. Maybe it's this gift. Some of you guys have this gift that you can just talk. Not me. I don't have that. But maybe some of you guys have this gift where you can just talk. Or maybe some of you have this gift where you're really well at listening. Maybe some of you, we all have these gifts that we've been given, and God goes, I want you to use this. And instead of using it, you've actually ignored it. When you've pushed it away, and you go, I don't want to do that. I'm afraid of what the money's going to look like. That's what we always do. We're afraid of what God's going to use me. We're afraid that He's going to send us someplace we don't want to go. That's what we're afraid. We go, God, use me. I want to be your faithful servant, but please don't send me to Tibet. And I'm not saying that Tibet's a bad place. I've never been there, but that's how we get. Don't send me to Africa. Don't send me here. I don't want to go to this place, but I'll do anything else you want. And don't touch my wallet either. And that's where we get. That's how we get our mindsets. Instead of going where God goes, I want you to, and so sometimes God's going to send you to a difficult place. Do you really think that Moses wanted to walk back into Egypt and, hey, check it out, I'm here. I know you've been looking for me for a little while, but here I am. No, He doesn't want to do that. So sometimes He's going to send you to a difficult place. That's what's going to happen. And what happens is that you can make the choice to go that direction, or you can run, which you've been probably doing most of the time. So what is it that you've been holding back? Even this last couple of weeks, you had that stirring at the first of the year ago, I'm going to start doing this. Well, what have you been holding back? What is it that God asked you to do? And you go, I don't have the time for that, or I don't have the energy for that, or I can't do this. What you have is exactly what God uses. He's waiting for you. What you have is exactly what God uses. So maybe you can repair things. Well, guess what? Maybe you can help somebody who can't repair things. Maybe there's a single mom here that their car is broken down, and all it needs is you to be able to go out and repair the one thing that's wrong with it. Maybe you're good with numbers. You can be on the count team. Maybe you're good with numbers and you can actually help somebody do their taxes this year. Maybe you're good with kids and you can serve in kids. Because we need help, I'm telling you right now. We need help. And before I kind of go any further there, what I would like you to do is as you're walking out today, I'd like you to stick your head and just kind of look and see what the progress has been made. It's still a construction zone, but massive progress has been made over there. And it's amazing. And so I want to thank Colton, and I want to thank Chris, and I want to thank Josh, and I want to also thank Amory. And, all of them came in and helped and worked during the week. And they got some time off, and they said, hey, we want to come and help. And so I want to, each one of them spent hours here to work on it. And so it's amazing, and it's great. And so just, I would tell you, but God used their gifts exactly where they were. They said, I have a hammer. Well, come down. We can find something for you. We got something for you. But that's what happens. Maybe you can cook. Or maybe you can serve a meal to somebody who's hurting. It's just these things you can look at. You can work in a shop. Maybe you're a writer. Maybe you've been through tough things. You can help others get through this stuff. You can be a mentor. You know, it's just so often that we don't realize that we have this gift that God has already given to us. It's not always about going off and serving as a missionary. Sometimes it's serving right here. Sometimes it's serving right out of your own workplace, or sometimes it's serving right out of your home, just being able to help somebody. Maybe you like to run. Start a group. There's just so much. Let me tell you, it's just, as long as you start something, you're lapping everybody that's just sitting on the couch. You're just running laps around them. You're just doing so much more. As long as you start. Doesn't matter how slow you're going, you're still lapping them because they're just sitting there watching you. Isn't that pretty? They're going to come around again. Isn't that pretty? Wow, their lives are changing. Wow, they're losing weight. Wow, they're getting out of debt. Wow, these things are happening. You just have to start. The thing is that most of us, we go, the first, it's a new year, it's a new day. Let's go back to the same things that we were doing last year and expect this year to be different. That's where we get. So you have to remember is that God doesn't want you to go out and do more than what you can. All he's asking you to do is to do what you can. He's not asking you to go do more. He's not asking you to take on more responsibility. Moses said to the Lord, pardon your servant, Lord, but I have never been eloquent, neither in the past, nor since you've spoken to your servant. What he says right here, he goes, look, I don't speak well. And Moses was a stutterer. He goes, I don't speak well. I've never been eloquent. And that's a word that we use today. He didn't probably say that word back then because it wouldn't have come out right. You know, but he says, and even since you've started talking to me, you said, I'm going to give you this gift, and you're going to go talk. It hasn't gotten any better, God. It hasn't gotten magic. All of a sudden, my stuttering problem didn't go away. And so what God does is God goes, I know what your problem is, and don't worry about that. I've already got the answer. You're worried about the wrong things. I said, get back there. You got a truck to go before you get there. He tells him, he goes, Lord said to him, who gave human beings their mouth? Who made them deaf or mute? Who gives them sight or makes them blind? Is it not I, the Lord? Oh, I'll help you speak, and I will teach you what to say. So he says, now go. Get started. And as we're journeying, I'll teach you. You'll learn. Are you just sitting still? What did you write down? So as you've been sitting there, and you've been listening, and you've been going, well, God wants to use me right where I'm at. He's already given me the tool. He wants me to use what I have. And what I don't have, he's going to give to me as I start making the progress. This is what he tells us. And we're only in Exodus 3. That's where all we're at. This is what he tells us. What's been holding you back? What's been holding you back from doing what God has asked you to do? Is it fear? Is that what it's at? Maybe it's that you've forgotten it. Maybe you've just continued, it's been out of sight, out of mind. It doesn't appear, you don't see it on a regular basis. So maybe you need to do what Joe Montana did, is write it down and see the goals all the time. Have a consistent reminder on your phone. You wake up in the morning, it pops up. This is what you're going to do today. You're going to strive to do better. Because the thing is that most of us, we just stop. And we sit down, and we get comfortable. You ever told a kid to go to bed? Isn't it amazing on how much they have to say immediately, you following, go to bed? Isn't it amazing? I started thinking about it, and I started looking at it. It's, can I have a drink? Oh, well, that's what my son asks for all the time. Go to bed, Michael. Can I have a drink? I have to go to the bathroom. I'm not tired. I'm hungry. I'm scared of the dark. I need my blanket. Where's my blanket at? These are all things my kids say all the time. I'm telling you right now. I wrote this down from them. My pajamas are itchy. They make me hot. So Haley came to me. This isn't bleeding anymore, but I need a new Band-Aid. Okay. Can you read me another book? All right. Can you tell me a story? Can you? Michael, can I sleep with my Transformers? He's got all of them. Or if it's not Transformers, it's I don't know. He's got Paw Patrol or something, but they are in bed with him. Haley, one time, we sing a song. My favorite. How come you get to stay up? Why do you get to stay awake? It's funny is that my kids will always go to bed, right? They'll go up there and then they'll spend 15 minutes up there, and Michael usually will wander back downstairs, and he comes down, and it's amazing because he goes up there fully clothed, and he comes back down wearing just nothing but his underwear and a blanket. He's just got it over his shoulder. He's like, "Hey, what's up? I'm back down here," and he climbs on the couch, and he just wants to fall asleep with us, right? He just wants to be in our presence when he falls asleep because he feels safe. And I look at it and I think about it, and I go, what happens if we were like that? If we just always wanted to be in God's presence to feel safe, what would happen? Could you imagine what would happen to your relationships? If you were always in God's presence and every time you brought somebody in, could you imagine what would happen? Could you imagine what would happen to your marriage if you were really after one of these godly marriages? Could you imagine what would happen at your workplace if you were doing how God asked you to do, give 100% all the time, 100% of the time? Because how many of us walk in there and we're running at 20% sometimes? And we blame it on the coffee. We go, I need coffee. Do you have coffee here? No, you don't have coffee. I'm going to be like this all day. That's how we get. We blame it on other things when really we're supposed to walk in the door and we're supposed to give it our all and be the best employee. We're supposed to be an example. We're supposed to show others how to act. But we walk in and we're just like, oh, I'll bring everybody down to my level. Well, let's work at my pace. Do what you can, right? Do what you can. You can give your all. You can give your all to your marriage. You can give your all to your friendships. You can give your all to your relationships. You can give your all to all those things. Do what you can and allow God to take up the rest. That's what we have to do. You be you and let God be God. Take one step at a time. Know what your goal is. Take step 1, then 2, then 3. And when you get to step 27, then you start worrying about step 28. The problem is we get to step 1 and we look at it and go, ooh, step 400 is lots of flights up. I'm just going to stay down here. I like the first floor. Instead of working our way up and trying to get up to where we're supposed to be at. Mother Teresa came out and said, if you can't feed 100 people, just feed one. Just take one step. Move forward. So all you have to do is just move forward each and every day. Hebrews 11, remember this. Remember I opened up with this. By faith, Moses, when he had grown up, refused to be known as a son. He chose to be mistreated along with the people of God to enjoy the fleeting pleasures of sin. Is that where our life is right now? Has our life gotten to the point where we enjoy the pleasures of sin rather than doing what God has asked us to do? Is that where we've gotten? We want to enjoy, and it really is fleeting. Because just imagine that we only get temporary pleasure out of most of these things. It's very fast. It comes and goes. But it also, the Bible tells us that life is but a breath. Compared to what it's going to be, it's just... So that sin that we look at and we go, that's what's holding me up, and I got to keep doing this, that we only get 30 seconds of pleasure now. Well, just think your whole life is just but a breath. So what is that? It's amazing that we allow these things that are very temporary to make it to where they destroy eternity for us. These very temporary things, and we just hold them back, and whatever it is. And for me, guys, obviously for me, it's food. I love food. I do. But guys, it's killing me. It is. I mean, it's sad is that we go and you go and you try on clothes, or you try and put clothes on that you had before. You go to the closet and go, I want to wear that. And you put it, and you go, oh, that must be Michael's. Is what happens. Guys, it's we don't even realize it. And so we go, I got to lose weight, or I got to do this, or I got to get healthier, and I got to. But the thing is that we allow the sin to continue to hold us back. We go, no, they just turned back on Hostess. Why am I going to give that up? It went away for a year. I went without for a year, but I love cupcakes. That's where we're at, by the way, guys. That's how life is. I use the cupcakes as my example, but that's how most of us are. We have things that hold us back so much. Whatever that sin is, whatever it is that's holding us back, whatever that pleasure that you're going, this instant thing that's going to destroy long term. What I look at is I go, I have a 4-year-old son, and I want to see him get married. And I want to see him have children. I want to see him get to grow up and become a man, and that's not going to happen if I keep going the way I go. Think about the end. Think about what you're really after and what you want. Think about what direction you're going. Think about what you've been doing. Is it only affecting right now, or is it affecting the end? So we have to start looking at. Those changes start coming right now. You can go, the first of the year. Well, now we're at the 17th. You're going to wait until the first of next year? Is that what you're really going to do? How about we start again right now? How about we start right now and walk around and we go, I'm ready. And I'm ready to step out and become this new creation. I'm ready to do something new with God. I'm ready to have the sin that's been holding me back, the pleasures, the anger, whatever it's been holding me back. And I'm ready to start again right now and go, I want that washed away. Because it happens right now. You don't have to wait till the first. You don't have to wait for something else. It starts right now. And the thing is that we allow it. We allow whatever it is that's holding us back, we allow it to have these grasps. And it affects our eternity. How about you affect your eternity for the positive, and we change it and go, I want this eternity with God rather than an eternity in hell. Let's pray. Father, I know you sent your Son for each one of us. While we were still sinning, while we were still hurting others, while we were still broken, while we weren't even here, but you knew what was to come. And yet you sent him so that each one of us could be with you, so we could have eternity with you. So that all the hurts and all the pains and all the sin from our past could be washed away because you knew we were going to need it. You knew that we were going to need to have it all washed away. You knew that we were going to need new life. So, Father, I may not know everything about you, but I'm willing to start here. What I do know is that you sent your Son for me, a sinner that was broken, that had a past, because you wanted to use me to be part of your army, to be part of your kingdom, to forgive me, to wash away my sins, to be able to have life with you. I know that, and I know that that's a good starting point. I want the new life that's promised in 2 Corinthians, where the old is washed away, and in your eyes, I'm brand new. I want that. I want that here and now. While keeping your heads down, if you prayed that with me, if you prayed that you're just ready for this, for your sins to be washed away, and that new life to start. If you could just put a hand up saying, Michael, I'm ready. I'm ready to start moving forward with God. I'm ready to start doing life with you because my way hasn't been working. I continue to go my direction. I continue to do what I want to do. I continue to allow sin to hold me back from pursuing the goals that you've given me. You can put your hands down. I know that He is looking down and celebrating and going, my child is coming home. Father, for all of us, we ask for the strength to be able to carry on the mission that you've given each one of us. To go out and to make disciples, to reach a neighbor, to reach a friend, to reach a coworker, to grow your kingdom, to take care of this temple that you've given each one of us, and to start moving forward with you. Father, we ask that you give us the strength to continue to persevere when we get tired, when we don't look and see that we've lost weight within the first 4 hours of working out. That you continue to allow us to show up the next day, to keep going, to keep moving forward to where we get stronger, to where we build up, and we're doing life with the way you've intended us to do it instead of trying to take shortcuts through it. Father, give us the strength to continue when people will make fun of us and mock us and they want to cast stones at us. Allow us to hold back and allow us to just continue to be the light, be the example, and move forward. We know we can't do it without you. And so we invite you in. And we invite you to be part of our lives and what we do and the direction we go. Father, thank you for today. It's in your Son, Jesus' name, that we pray. Amen.